Ready for the easiest English lesson of your life? Today, you're improving your vocabulary, your confidence, and your listening skills simply by hearing a story. No grammar charts, no textbooks. Just sit back, enjoy, and let the English sink in. This is the story of Reginald, the fox that dines at the ivy. All right, so the narrator begins by saying, Reginald had been practicing his posture for 3 weeks now, standing on his hind legs in front of a puddle outside Embankment Station, adjusting the bow tie he'd nicked from a costume shop bin in Covent Garden, tilting his head just so to appear both distinguished and approachable. He'd watched enough episodes of First Dates through the window of a Costa to know that confidence was everything. Tonight was the night. Tonight, Reginald was finally getting into the ivy. His family thought he'd lost the plot, of course. His gran especially. Every Sunday at their den near Richmond Park, she'd serve up her foraged mushrooms with a side of disappointment, asking when he was going to stop gallivanting about central London like some sort of celebrity. Oh, is that her reading that? Yes, I guess it is. So, going to stop gallivanting about central London like some sort of celebrity. Is that an old granny fox? Cunning voice. No, that's a bit witchy. Hey, I'm a fox. I'm a clever fox. I'm going to outwit you. I'm a cunning fox. And I'm a grandma. I'm a little old lady cunning. Still sounds like a witch. Gallivanting about. But she's homely. She's serving him food. Oh, my dear boy. Yeah, like that, I think. He was going to stop gallivanting about central London like some sort of celebrity. His sister would roll her eyes as Reginald explained for the 100th time that he wasn't just any fox. He was a fox with ambition. A fox with taste. It's the gran again. Can I remember how I did it? You've got perfectly good food here, love, Gran would say, nudging another mushroom toward him. Reginald would begrudgingly nibble at it until she turned her back whilst scrolling through a discarded iPhone he'd found studying Google reviews of Michelin-starred restaurants. Now, a quick pause before we carry on with Reginald and his Michelin-starred dreams. I don't know your exact level of English, but even in the first part of this story, I've already used quite a few intermediate and advanced words and expressions. Things like practicing his posture, nicked or distinguished, approachable, lost the plot, and gallivanting, or even foraged, I said, and begrudgingly. And there are plenty more coming up like that, right? So now I'd ideally stop and explain each phrase as soon as it appears, but YouTube prefers things to stay quick and snappy, just like me. So instead, I've made a free PDF that goes with this story. It breaks down all the tricky vocabulary, gives you clear definitions, examples, pronunciation, and even quizzes, help you properly learn and remember the language from this video. So to get it, scan the QR code on screen right now, or click the link in the description, show notes, or comments section. And that will take you to this screen where you just pop your name and email down, and I'll be able to send it straight to your email inbox, completely free. All right, back to Reginald. Okay, so he's been scrolling on his phone, going through Michelin-starred restaurants. But back to tonight. The plan was foolproof. Well, mostly foolproof. Reginald had befriended, or rather had been persistently following, a street performer in Leicester Square named Dave. Dave was a living statue, painted head to toe in silver. You know the sort? And he had something Reginald desperately needed, a large equipment bag that he carried his costume bits in. "All right, Dave," Reginald had said last Tuesday, though obviously Dave only heard fox noises. "Here's the deal. You carry me into the ivy in your bag and I'll owe you one." Dave, to his credit, hadn't screamed when he'd discovered Reginald in his bag that evening. He'd simply sighed, muttered something about London getting weirder by the day, and continued on to his next gig, which happened to be right outside the ivy. As Dave set his bag down to take a breather, Reginald made his move. He'd studied the timings religiously. 7:47 p.m, doors open as couple exits. 7:48 p.m, small window before next reservation arrives. He had 60 seconds. Reginald exploded from the bag, bow tie slightly askew, and waddled on his hind legs straight through the doors before anyone could process what they were seeing. A waiter gasped, a woman dropped her Aperol spritz, but Reginald kept moving, head high, acting like he owned the place. "Table for one," he would have said if he could speak human. Before security could descend upon him, a small dog in a handbag began yapping hysterically at a nearby table. In the chaos, Reginald had to slip behind a decorative plant to wait for calm to resume, and while waiting, he found himself placed near the kitchen doors. The smells, oh, the smells. This was it. This was everything he'd dreamed of. Reginald's nose twitched as he caught whiffs of truffle oil, seared scallops, and something buttery and magnificent. He carefully came out from his hiding place and crept closer to the kitchen, pressing himself against the wall. Needs to do a chef voice right now. "Chef, the Richmond Park wild mushrooms for table 12, a sous chef called out. Do you know what a sous chef is? Maybe the French people watching and listening would know. This is a supportive chef, a chef under the main chef, the less important chef. And then the head chef maybe says, yes, the foraged porcini, our signature autumn special. Typically, I don't think his voice would be like that. It would kind of be similar to the one I just said. Yeah, the foraged porcini, our signature autumn special, £52 a plate and worth every penny. Reginald's ears pricked up. Richmond Park? He peered around the corner and saw a chef delicately arranging mushrooms on a plate. Mushrooms that looked suspiciously, remarkably, exactly like the ones Gran served every Sunday. The ones he'd been politely pushing around his plate for months. The ones that literally grew about 50 metres from his den. These are almost impossible to source, the head chef was saying to a young trainee, handling them like precious jewels. Wild porcini from Richmond Park. The quality is unmatched. People book months in advance just for this dish. Reginald felt something crack inside his chest. Not his ribs. He'd had enough close calls with bins to know what that felt like. But something else. His entire worldview, perhaps. He thought of Gran. Her paws permanently earth-stained from digging, proudly presenting her Sunday special, while he'd barely looked up from trying to calculate the tube fare to Mayfair. Foxes don't pay, but Reginald liked to feel informed. He thought of his sister, who'd told him last week that she'd had the most incredible meal of those mushrooms with some wild garlic. And he'd literally said, yes, well, when you've studied real cuisine like I have... Sir, there's a fox in the restaurant. Reginald snapped back to reality as security finally spotted him. But instead of running, he did something that surprised even himself. He calmly dropped to all fours, picked up his bow tie in his mouth, and trotted with dignity toward the front door. Dave was still outside, now frozen in his statue pose, one eye slightly open watching the commotion. Reginald dropped the bow tie in Dave's coin bucket, a small thank you. Is that useful? I suppose it could go with his outfit. And began the journey back to Richmond. Not the panicked, tube-hopping, scrambling he usually did, but a proper walk through Green Park, where he really noticed, how the evening light caught the leaves, along the Thames path, where the river smelled like possibility rather than just not quite good enough. By the time he reached Richmond Park, it was nearly midnight. His family would be asleep, but Gran, as always, had left a little pile of mushrooms outside his part of the den. A note written in scratches on a leaf read, "In case you came home hungry. Kiss." If you don't know, that means a kiss. Is that universal? Not sure. Reginald sat down and ate every single one. They were, he had to admit, absolutely bloody delicious. Rich, earthy, with a nutty finish that paired beautifully with the faint taste of humble pie he was also swallowing. The next morning, Gran woke to find Reginald sitting beside her, looking sheepish. "Gran," he said, "I've been a complete pillock." That's good. She smiled, her old eyes twinkling. "I know, love, but you're our pillock. Fancy some breakfast? I found some absolutely gorgeous porcini this morning. Michelin star quality, if I do say so myself." Reginald grinned. "I hear they're quite sought after in central London." "Oh, really? How much are they charging?" £52 a plate." Gran nearly choked on her morning beetle. £52 for mushrooms? Those London folk really have lost the plot, haven't they? And from that day on, every Sunday, Reginald attended Gran's dinners with genuine enthusiasm. Bow ties, no more. Though he did occasionally regale the family with tales of his great Ivy adventure, which grew more elaborate with each telling. His sister still reckoned he was a bit of a pretentious git, but at least now he was their pretentious git, who knew a good mushroom when he saw one. All right, that brings us to the end of Reginald's big night out. If you want to keep learning from this story, remember you can download the free PDF that goes with it. It has all the tricky vocabulary, clear explanations and quizzes to help you actually remember the new language you heard today. So just scan that QR code on screen or use the link in the description, show notes or the comments. And if you want to go even deeper with your English, head over to my website, thebritishenglishpodcast.com, where you can join my academy. As I often say, the academy. The place where learners finally break out of that intermediate plateau. You get a clear weekly structure with 2 classes led by myself each week, personalised feedback each week, speaking practice each week, and a community that actually keeps you motivated. It is everything you need to finally feel confident and natural when speaking English. So head over to thebritishenglishpodcast.com/academy if you want to go straight to the academy. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you want more from me. And finally, if you just want more of what you just experienced, then enjoy the video that has just popped up on screen right now. So I'll see you in that one.